Hey, everybody. Welcome to Fourth Watch Files. We got a really amazing show tonight. Let me bring on Brian here. Come on, Brian. What's up, child?
What up?
Right. People are going to hate us.
Oh, yeah, man. It's going to be fun.
Nephilim roots. Okay, so, let that sink in for a second.
Yeah, this is not the normal Disney, video that a lot of people are talking about, how Disney is evil and there's 666 in the Disney logo and all this baby stuff. We're going to talk about what's deeper and what's more prevalent than what you have ever really contemplated or understood, and it is more disturbing, I would say, far more disturbing than what people recognize when it comes to Disney. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, we love old Disney. Old Disney is so disturbing, and
yeah, that's true disturbing.
People don't know what Disney really is presenting, and they don't really know that this is a video exposing, if you love Disney, you absolutely need to watch this. If you think Disney's evil and you're one of those people that are kind of crazy and everything's evil, okay, you also need to watch this, because we're going to debunk some stuff too, because there's a lot of stuff out there that people are like, oh, Disney spells 666 in their logo. Who cares? Who cares about that? That's not even.
Yeah.
And yes, we're aware of all the subliminal messaging that's out there, where it's they secretly hide these words sex in the sand when it blows and stuff, and all these secret subliminal messages. I don't know if you've seen The Lion King. There's literally boobs, when the parrot's flying by in The Lion King. There's all these there's all these hidden innuendos and sexual themes throughout all the Disney movies, and it's there. And it is subliminal, and it is hidden, and you can look up subliminal Disney videos, and that's what everybody talks about. Okay, that's what everybody talks about. They're like, "Oh, Disney's evil. Have you seen all the subliminal messaging, dude? There is a bigger message being played in your face."
Yeah, you need to step back and see the big picture. The big picture will blow your mind. It has no excuse. It's very clear what it is, and that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Big, giant ideas and religions and philosophies that are being forced down your children's throat in happy disguises.
Yeah, and it's in your face, so blatant that you don't, and they disguise it in a way that makes you think it's acceptable or okay. Right. And this is what we're going to talk about. Okay, this is the next level of Disney, and maybe we make a few videos on this. I don't know, but because honestly, I don't even like watching Disney movies. I can't even stand watching them because I feel icky watching them, and it's also just feels disturbing. But I think I'm gonna have to, for the sake of exposing some of this stuff, I'm gonna have to sit down and go through all the Disney videos and just start picking apart.
Yeah,
because
I personally don't animation. Okay, sorry, I just don't. But I mean, I love all the other stuff they did, the Pirates of the Caribbean, all this crazy stuff. But there's also all kinds of images and all that stuff, the Mermaids and everything else. But
we're going to talk specifically, we're going to try to aim specifically about the cartoons for this episode and the beginnings of Disney. That's something that we're just going to talk about. And some of the Disney roots, I think what we should do is maybe start with some of the early photos. We just wanted to throw these in there because it's hilarious. I mean, I don't know if you guys ever looked at the disturbing images of the early photos of Disney.
Super creepy.
Yeah, let's show some of those, because these are the stuff that nightmares are made of.
Wow.
Go put it up, man. Put it up. Because, dude, these images, when you see them, oh my gosh, look at how creepy this is. This is the beginnings of Walt Disney, Disneyland. And it's so oh my gosh,
those are not mouses or rats there.
Straight rats. And look at these creepy little things at the bottom there, the little creepy dolls. And oh my gosh. And it's just look at this weird, creepy hands. Dude, it's so unsettling just looking at this.
It's all distorted and strange.
Yeah, it's so disturbing. And a
lot of people, when they try to defend Disney, some of my relatives are Disneyaholics, and they're like, well, we only like the old stuff. And one of the things that she said was that, first of all, if you understand anything about ley lines, and this is, superfluous, this is on the outside of stuff, but there are cultic ley lines that go through and connect every major temple and paranormal site, going from the temples in Egypt all the way here. And one of the biggest ley lines go through Florida, where Disney World is. Now, we all know about the 33rd degree room. You know,
yeah, and I can't verify the ley line thing, but I will say, maybe it's there. I don't know, but
you got to do some research on it. I mean, I just did some research. But the thing is that what she said was that, well, Walt Disney was good. It was his brother Roy that was the one that was the Mason and put all this stuff in, and so.
Well, Walt Disney was a Freemason. I'm pretty sure he was a Freemason too. And we have this thing at Disneyland called Club 33.
Right.
Why do you think it's there? Why do you think Club 33 is a thing? Oh, it's because it's referring to the 33rd degree Masons. It's a 33rd degree. Oh, yeah. But it's a 33rd degree Masonry statement, and that's what Club 33 is. And it's very obvious that there's like Masonry roots tied to Disney stuff.
Very, very. Back in the day, you couldn't even get in unless you were, in the club and all that stuff. So very exclusive.
You had to be a Freemason to be in the club, and people are like, "Oh, how do you get into the club?" And it's like, well, you got to be a Mason. That's how you get in. And everybody was like, "Oh, that's the secret. Oh, you're gonna know people that know people." And it's like, dude. Yeah. Like, just be a Freemason. And in fact, there's Freemason clubs everywhere that are hidden. In fact, I know of some in our town where if you're a Freemason, you can give a special handshake, do a little thing, give the signal, and you can get access to special rooms, special privileges, special buildings, special places that are segregated and separated and set apart for people that are Freemasons. And this is everywhere. And it persists at Disneyland and everywhere.
That's right.
And it's just so funny because it's so obviously in your face. And obviously, if you want to look into Freemasons, you guys look into Freemasons. I'm not going to talk about Freemasons, but look into it. It's look into it. It's a little bit
part of the bigger picture. Is of course Disneyland, the enchanted world, the land of fairies, the land of magic, and that kind of plays directly into the whole ley line thing, because ley lines are supposed to be a source, a channel for supernatural anything. And
I don't know I don't know if you can validate ley lines, but who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to find a way to stick something in the ground and be like, this is a ley line, or there's static electricity coming out of it. There's no way there's no way to validate it. I don't know.
There's a lot of history to it, but anyway. I'm just about the themes. The themes are the most disturbing thing.
Yeah. Okay. So
their relation to Nephilim.
Yes, this is what I want to talk about. Okay, this is the biggest thing. We can talk about. Actually, wait. Should we talk about Pinocchio first? Because no, we'll talk about the Nephilim first, and we'll get into some of the other weird, disturbing stuff about Disney that you don't even think about. Because you know what? Let's just go into some of that actually first. Then we'll talk about the Nephilim stuff, because straight up, I just got to get this. Everybody's talking about Disney, oh, there's 666 in their thing. Oh, did you see the sand says sex? Oh, did you see it says this? Oh, do you see it says this? You know what's even more disturbing? The movie Pinocchio. Okay, they take little boys to Pleasure Island.
Yeah, hello.
They kidnap little boys and take them to Pleasure Island and turn them into donkeys or Democrats. It's even funnier.
They're never heard of again. They disappear.
Yeah, they disappear. They take the little boys, and then it's like this. And freaking, who made Pinocchio? Geppetto?
Yeah, Geppetto. Hello. Yeah.
Pedophile pedo?
The nose growing like it's a phallic symbol.
Yes. And you tell a lie when things grow. That's what you do. You don't. You keep it secret when your things grow. You tell. It's so. It's the sexual innuendos are so perverted and disturbing, and they hide them, but they're right in front of your face, and people don't see them, and they don't give them credit, and they're all trying to look for the symbols, and oh, the dust said sex in the Elsa, Queen Elsa in Frozen movie, and it's okay, cool, yeah. Well, there's even more disturbing stuff than that.
Take a breath and back up a little bit and check everything out. Yeah.
Just look at all. I mean, you're looking for the minute, but the overarching themes are more disturbing than you even possibly are giving credence to. And so, yes, there is the subliminal stuff there, but it goes throughout the things. But one specifically I want to talk about is Nephilim. We want to talk about Nephilim. So there is an agenda in society today, in the world, to popularize the occult and normalize the occult, which is witchcraft, and Nephilim, normalize Nephilim and differentiation of of individuals, if you will, and normalize bestiality and animal love and child love. Okay.
Right.
This persists and has been in your Disney movies for a very long time. Okay. Like freaking, not just Pinocchio taking, rewriting the story of Jonah and the whale being swallowed by the whale. Let's erase that story and make everybody think that it's actually the story about Pinocchio being swallowed by a whale, and older men taking little boys to Pleasure Island, or Captain Hook taking little boys away over in Peter Pan land. Okay. And Neverland. Oh, it never existed. Okay. We're not taking little boys over here. Yeah, exactly. It's so creepy and disturbing when you really look at it and pay attention to what's going on. And
really, so it's just one incident, but it's multiple almost in every film. Yeah.
Yes.
And I think what we did another video about the normalization of the occult, and it started in the 60s. Basically, it was just exploded. I mean, you can go back and look at our other video about that, how it's traced back to Crowley and a lot of other stuff. But yeah, this is the strangest and the most disturbing thing about all of these giant, ideas they're putting in children's heads. Just go over a list of them.
Yeah, you know what? Let's show that Donald Duck image. Let's pull up that Donald Duck image.
We can get to that, but let's talk about Beauty and the Beast.
Okay, well, yeah, sure. Here. So we'll first mention, I'm going to mention Nephilim, okay? So when we say Nephilim, if you've been watching our videos, we explain what Nephilim are. Okay, Nephilim is the component of history that the society's been trying to erase, okay? These were giants that used to live back in the day, okay? They were giant beings that used to live. They were also hybridized human-animal mixed creatures, okay? So they were human-animal, like animals mating with angels, mating with humans, creating mermaids, creating satyrs, centaurs, all these
creatures were actually real. They were actually Nephilim.
They were, and there's evidence for this stuff, and I know it sounds crazy, but when you start to look into the history of it, and we can find there's actually some of the earliest cave drawings known to man depict, and it's in Africa, it depicts mermaids. It depicts humans fighting and killing off this race of mermaid people, and they're throwing spears at them, and you see them sinking to the bottom. And this is the earliest depiction. Google it right now. Earliest depiction cave drawings depict mermaids. And so there is like a battle between these animalistic, humanoid, mixed angelic beings, which are Nephilim. Okay. And we still have remnants of Nephilim genetics existing in our society today. Okay. People with red hair, for example, that's a trait that is quite possibly came from angelic hybridizing angels mating with humans. Okay. People that have short people, little people. Okay. Like if you're a little person, you have angelic DNA. And I know it sounds crazy, but you are part angel. You have some distant Nephilim genetic DNA. And people back in the day that were little, like leprechauns and elves and all this, they were seen as magical. Okay. Because they were probably, okay. They literally had superpower forms of some kind, that they had angelic Nephilim DNA, and they could do stuff. I know a small person today that has an ability where he touches people and they get healed. Okay. And what? Have you heard of this happening? Like he can touch people and take away pain and sickness. Okay. That's not a normal thing. Okay. That's something like Jesus does. Okay. Like it's pretty weird when people that are just, because you're a small person, suddenly you have these strange type of abilities. And that's a whole nother series. We did a video. We got to redo that video talking about all that stuff. But yeah, so people that are short have angelic DNA, which is Nephilim. Now it doesn't mean you're an evil person at all. By this time, you're 99% human, and you just happen to have some distant Nephilim angelic DNA that's expressed a gene that's affected you in a certain way. People that have hunchbacks, okay? Hunchback used to be a condition that was pretty dang common, okay? And elephantiasis was also a pretty dang common condition. The elephant man, and it's not very common today. It's not as common as it used to be because the angelic Nephilim DNA sequence has been weeded out of our society, and gigantism has also been weeded out of our society. And if you look up giants in history, you're going to find a ton of photos. But today we don't have people that are as big as the people that used to exist, dude. I'm talking like 15 feet tall people that you're just like, what? And we have photos of these people existing. in history. Okay,
we should talk about there was a suppression of that. There was American suppression. Like supposedly, Smithsonian has a bunch of these skeletons in their basement. They don't put them on display, but all over the world, there's other examples of them. But there was a very interesting thing I heard about the early 19th century, all the freak show, all the distorted freak shows, the lobster people, all the different types of real freaks were a product of this. And what they did was they created the freak show so it wouldn't, be traced.
It would normalize it.
Yeah, exactly. It was normalization.
And it was the normalization and exposure, and also trying to get people away from believing that people that had these weird genetic deformities or these unique genetic deformities weren't evil. Oh, they're just normal people. They're not from Nephilim lineage of these once angel people that used to roam the earth and took over the entire earth to the point where God had to flood it to erase their existence. Okay, like they wanted to erase the thought. Okay, but like elves were real at one point. Small people that had magical powers did exist at one point. Okay, mermaids were real. Fairies were real. Centaurs were real. These creatures mixed genetics and distorted human genetics, which is what all we have left today is people that have deformities, or small people, or people with red hair, or these sort of deformities that we have today are the lasting components of basically the remnant of Nephilim genetics that is existing in our society. But now that you know, there's a quick snippet of Nephilim. Let's take the concepts of Nephilim. So short people, distorted human figures, hunchbacks. Let's take red hair. Let's take a lot of these sort of Nephilim trait genetics, and then let's mix in the occult and witchcraft and magic and the normalization of magic and witchcraft and stuff that evokes demons. Okay, and all of that is what we've mixed together to create Disney.
Yep.
That is the backbone of Disney. It's literally distorted Nephilim, and they've painted it in such a way that it's like, oh, the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Exactly.
Oh, he's really the good guy. And it's not that you're a good or bad person if you have a hunchback. That's not what we're saying at all. What it is that the hunchback condition that used to exist back in the day that was way worse than what people that have hunchbacks today are. The hunchback condition was a condition that was created by Nephilim genetics. And the Bible actually talks about dwarfs and hunchbacks. It's very interesting. The Bible literally says that if dwarfs are not allowed to walk into the temple to present the sacrifice or whatever, the sacraments to God, you were not allowed to if you were a dwarf or if you were a hunchback or if you had cut ears, which is really weird. But it also, what's the thing that we see in a lot of elves? Oh, they have pointed ears. So I don't know if that's referring to beings with pointed ears or what that meant when it said that in the Bible. That's kind of one of my theories on that. I'm not quite sure. But anyways, what it's saying basically is, and it's not saying that you're an evil person. It was just because you had angelic DNA, and the angelic DNA was the defiance of God, you weren't allowed to walk into the physical presence of the temple, or your body would drop dead and you would probably go to heaven. Like you would just fall over dead and go to heaven is what would happen, because it was a defiance of God. Now, it doesn't mean God doesn't love you and God doesn't forgive you and God doesn't give it. In fact, Jesus even says in the Bible, people, for the shocker for this one, but Jesus says, hey, go unto all creature and preach the gospel, and any who believe will be saved. But he doesn't say go unto all man or all women or all man and women. He says go unto all creatures and preach the gospel. What creatures can you speak to today? Because that's a pretty weird statement when Jesus tells you go unto all creatures. Okay, but the thing is, you don't understand is when Jesus showed up on the scene, it was the dying last remnant of the existing leftover Nephilim creatures were basically like at the end of their lineage. And they were like, there was still a few of those demons. They were demons. They were mixed genetic creatures that were existing in the realm that Jesus walked around in. Very few left, okay? When Jesus showed up on the scene, God was like, okay, look, pretty much everyone's human at this point, so now I will send my son for the forgiveness of everyone. But there were still leftover remnant Nephilim creatures that could accept the forgiveness of Christ. I believe, but they were still leftover remnants of them. And so,
and then you have Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yep, there you go. And so, like, what does Disney do? They take dwarves, which were once previously Nephilim creatures that were magical, but also connected to demons, or technically evil, some of them, and in defiance of God, unclean to be brought before the temple because they would fall dead and go to heaven or whatever. So these beings, Disney wants to fantasize them and say, Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, guys. Everybody loves the magical little people, they're good guys.
And again, Snippy and Puffy and the fun little names.
And the names alone are demonic, like Dopey and like Sleepy, and like they're trying to like, give you a good understanding of these characteristics of these beings, and then say that, oh, these are good characters. Okay, dude, they're freaking demons. They're demons of sloth. Is Dopey or whatever, demons of dope. That's probably freaking drug demon. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who knows? But it's disturbing. And then there's obviously witch with an apple trying to conjure in this idea that, that maybe that, I don't even know, maybe apples are trying to like put in your head that healthy food is bad for you. Or I don't know.
Well, I mean, apple goes back to the concept of the Garden of Eden. And
Garden of Eden, eating of the apple, whatever. And so, like,
apple, but
it probably was an apple.
It was a mango.
Maybe, yeah. And so, but the thing is, it's like they're trying to normalize you to witchcraft. They're trying to normalize you to Nephilim. They're trying to normalize you to hunchbacks, to dwarfs, to elves,
creatures,
to creatures,
personalities, and
animals and mixed things. And then even when it comes to Beauty and the Beast, it's bestiality, dude. They're trying to normalize you to bestiality. She falls in love with the beast when he's still a beast, okay? She's literally falling in love.
Beyond that, too, it's about normalizing the concept of a beast, which is what,
the mark of the beast. Yes.
Yeah. So some creepy underlying stuff. Really creepy.
They're trying to program you to get you a concepted okay with the idea that beasts are okay. You can love beast. You can love the mark of the beast if you can love beast. Oh, that's simple. I love beast. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's so in your face.
And the children,
yeah. It's
so
in
you have
your
like
face.
Mary Poppins, as fun as that movie is, as wonderful and how beautiful. Mary Poppins was a witch. Yeah, obviously. I mean, there's no question. Flying around with an umbrella instead of a broom. She had these psychic abilities, and I mean, it's a beautifully done story, but that's the poison.
And they're trying to attract you with these poisonous things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then like Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid is a Nephilim. Okay, Ariel is a Nephilim. She is a half human fish creature. Now, and a lot of people are like, "Oh my gosh, these people are crazy. They actually believe that these creatures exist." Actually, you can Google a story about mermaids, and maybe we do a whole episode on this, honestly. But there was I think it was off of the coast of Iceland. You can Google, or Iceland or Greenland. But there was some researchers that were in a submarine exploring an area, and a mermaid creature swam up to the tank and put its hand on the glass. So you see its hand go onto the glass. Yeah, and you see its eyes and its face, and then and it swims away. And they caught it from 2 different camera angles. Yeah. Here's the thing. They caught it from 2 different camera angles. And these are researchers, like oceanographers and researchers, okay? And they were just doing like their research of the environment or whatever. And because of what they found, and it was caught from 2 different angles, but because of what they found, they shut down all of the oil mining operations in all of Greenland. Okay, so you got it in that area, the whole
save the mermaid,
because of what the thing that they found, and they're like, we don't know what the heck this thing is. Like, this is freaking weird. Like maybe we should like not do this. Like maybe we'll like not dig into this area. And so they shut down all the oil operations. These thousands of people lost their jobs, tons of money lost and wasted because of what they found. Now that should tell you right there, there's probably something to this. You know what I mean? Like the fact that some researchers caught a fish hand creature thing, put its hand on the thing, you see its face, and swam away. And Google it, Iceland mermaid. And there's other stories of mermaids,
well, I mean,
which are about
the history of mermaids they're cannibals. I mean, they kill people. They grab you and pull you down and eat
Yes.
you. They're not happy little creatures. They're awful. They're really, really, that's why they're hunting them in Africa. I mean, I mean, it's not, once again, it's taking something and making it happy and pretty and sweet, but yet
all of it, Disney does that.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And it's like, the thing is, they're trying to, again, make witchcraft seem friendly. They took you, like, the witch was evil in the beginning of the early Disney movies, and now we gotten all the way down to Elsa from Frozen, who is the witch, but she's the good guy. And we've literally turned Maleficent, who's also the witch, who was the bad guy way back in the day. But now, guess what? Maleficent's the good girl. She's just misunderstood, guys. She's misunderstood.
Poor little witch.
Yeah, and we've taken what the society knew, witchcraft and demonology and all these things. We knew that this was evil, so they subtly averted you and said, okay, well, what about different people? They're friendly and they're good. These Nephilims aren't really Nephilim. And then it programmed you all the way to the point where now the main characters are straight up witches. But it's interesting though that actually, let's just talk about mermaids for a second. I know this is kind of weird and off topic, but there is in Africa, there's a Joe Rogan's type in Joe Rogan mermaid. One of his guys goes on the show and he talks about expressly seeing a mermaid while he was off this shores in Africa, Shell. I forget the area, but you can Google when you see the Joe Rogan thing about seeing mermaids, and then Google the area, and the people know, hey, there is mermaids in this area. And he said it was like 10 foot tall. He said the thing was huge. He said it wasn't like a normal sized person. He said it was huge. And he said, and it was like not feminine. He said it was masculine. He said it was mean. It was like, get out of my water. And it was like, they told him, don't go swimming in the water in the lagoon at night. He said, there's mermaids and they come and like kill you. Like people go missing. And like, he was like, yeah, whatever. So he went out in the lagoon and sure enough, the thing showed up. And like Google Joe Rogan mermaid. It's an interesting story. And I'm pretty sure the dude's not lying. And he talks about it and he saw it with this other little kid. But here's the thing, like mermaids, we've got the earliest cave drawings are of mermaids, okay, fighting humans, and they're like killing each other, okay? They were evil. And like there is reports in the Navy, I know a Navy personnel who talked about witnessing and experiencing mermaids, and they're told not to talk about it when they're out at sea. But in the areas that they go, there's like this sound that they make that people will go, they'll just fall overboard in the Navy. And this came from a person I know that's who was a Navy person. I don't know if he was a captain, but anyways, he was like, yeah, dude, like we knew about it. And he heard him. And people were like, hey, listen, don't talk about this. When you come back, do not talk about them. Don't pretend like they don't exist. And it was a really weird kind of thing to hear this guy that's like, seems pretty logical, explain like, yeah, dude, I think mermaids do exist. But again,
in scripture, they were referred to as sirens.
Yep. Sirens. And that's in the Greek mythology. And they were all evil. Okay, you gotta understand.
Yeah.
Yep. And they're all evil creatures that killed and ate humans or tricked them or mesmerized them or hypnotized them into falling into the water and drowning them and eating them or whatever. Okay, they were Nephilim. They were evil creatures. But here's Disney coming along and let's make the Little Mermaid your friend, guys. Nephilim aren't going to kill you and eat you. They're not evil, guys. They're just misunderstood. And they wish they had legs like you. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's so obvious. Yeah, it's so obvious. And that leads me into another movie that Disney doesn't like to talk about, I guess, is Hercules. Hercules used to be my favorite movie, actually, before I recognized what all these things were going out of the Disney movie, because I didn't really like Disney movies, but I liked that Hercules movie. It was pretty cool and it was interesting because I guess I've always studied ancient history and stuff. But the Hercules movie, dude, it is straight up Nephilim. That is the origin. Okay, and we've got Hades, who's obviously hell. It's obviously Hell, who is Satan or Lucifer or whatever you want to call him. And he's just misunderstood, guys. You know, he's a bad guy, but he's really just misunderstood. He's not that friendly. And the demons are funny, guys. Demons are funny and friendly. And he's got these two little demons that are walking around. And you're like, oh, the demons are friendly and friendly. They're not that big of a deal. And then you got friggin' like Hercules and all the Greek gods that they're trying to like normalize and make seem okay. Like the satyr dude, I forget his name. But anyways, he's like a friendly good guy, and you're just like, dude, that's a Nephilim. That's a half goat, half demon, half angel. That is a mixed genetic human hybrid. And they're literally trying to like normalize you to this. And you know what's funny is, here's the interesting part. These creatures have been around for decades, okay? Yeah. Human hybrids of animal mixed genetic things. They've been around way back in the day, okay? And it's been
hundreds of years, actually.
Hundreds of years. We have the earliest things. We have earliest writings of these creatures, okay? But did you notice in our society, we didn't start making a whole lot of content about them until recent. And in fact, Hercules was like kind of like, whoa, it was a movie about these creatures that were like half human hybrids. There wasn't a lot in our society about hybridized things. From the early movies till recent, hybridization of animals and human hybrid stuff was not a very big prominent thing, because they had been working for the last, I don't know how many centuries they've been working to erase their existence and erase that they were bad guys and just bury that they've ever existed, bury that they were ever around. They've been trying to like put them into the distant past so that nobody remembers what they are. So that way they could come back and show up and people will be completely blindsided by it. But recently we've been pushing these human hybrid, like you see that movie Sweet Tooth. You started seeing like these things have been like coming out with all these human hybrid stuff in our society and our media today. And you're just like, that's interesting. I wonder why we haven't been showing a lot of that stuff way back in the day when the early stuff. Well, that was because people back in the day knew what Nephilim were. People back in the day knew what human hybrid creatures were freaking evil. They were part demon and they were aware of it. But nowadays, everybody's so ignorant to what the reality of what's going on now that they're just like, oh yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. Like, and it's just
a product of hundreds of years of conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, even going way back to the Greeks were more about, all the gods and all the, that was all Nephilim. I mean, all the Greek gods were actual Nephilim.
They were the original Nephilim. The Greek gods. Right. They were the original, and Greek mythology did exist. It was actually the time before the flood. God had to wipe out them because they took over the entire earth.
Yeah.
Okay. They exist. Like every single human had been interbred, hybrid, mixed genetics with angelic DNA. And in fact, the Bible specifically says that Noah was pure in generations, saying his genetics was pure. And we know that Noah wasn't like pure in heart, like he was just a good person, because he freaking, his son slept with him. He got him drunk and he laid with him, it says. Okay, that was like, it's kind of a weird story. It was like weird sodomy thing going on there,
his daughter, right?
No, it was his son. His son got him drunk and said laid with him. But now it's debatable whether he got him drunk and then laid with his mom. But it says it laid with him, and it's a weird story. But we know he's not pure in existence or in whatever. But the Bible says he was pure in generations. He was the only one genetically pure. Okay, and it said him and his family were the only ones, and it didn't even say that his sons' wives were genetically pure. In fact, his sons' wives probably had some Nephilim genetic sequencing in them. And that's probably where we got the red hair trait that persists in our society today. Even it came probably from the Nephilim genetic sequencing from his daughters. But yeah, anyway, so Nephilim stuff though is it's when you start to recognize Nephilim themes in the Bible, you see it being crammed down your throat secretly and covertly, but it's just being like fed into you through all the media that you watch.
True.
And it's like everywhere.
And it's just all dressed up, like a Halloween, I mean, they just they create stories around it. They normalize it. So it's always in your face. So you just totally get numb to it. I mean, the witchcraft element, I mean, look at Disney. Mickey Mouse is the wizard, I mean, that's all. I mean, it's just right in your face.
And there's more about demons. I mean, like even let's think about, okay, so like Belle and the Beast is bestiality, right? And then you've got the Mowgli from the Jungle Book, right? And you got that snake that's talking and hypnotizing you, trying to like condition children to be, we should be.
What is that?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, exactly. Garden of Eden. Okay, and then you got Aladdin And the genie, which, by the way, I don't know if people know about genies, but genie comes from the Arabic word for jinn, which is a demon.
Yeah.
Okay,
it ain't vodka and gin. It's another type of gin. Yeah.
It's a thing that I do exorcism stuff, and I pray demons out of people. Like, this is what I pray out of people. Like, you pray out jinn out of people. Okay, dude. Like, this is another term for demon. Okay, but yeah, we got Aladdin telling you, oh, the genie. I mean, oh, it's the genie, not the jinn. The genie is such a good guy, and he's so friendly and fun.
Yeah, I dream of genie.
Yeah, I dream of genie. Totally. They want you to be conditioned to think, oh, this is acceptable behavior. Oh, this is good. And having demons are great. Like, and then obviously there's a subliminal messages in that movie where it's like there's a little part where it says take off your clothes in that movie, and there's like some other hidden like sexual innuendos that go on and that stuff. And there's like the Lion King has a ton of like little hidden sexual innuendos that are like throughout it. But like the overarching themes is even more disturbing with a lot of this stuff. Or like Cinderella, it's like her name is Sin. They're like trying to condition you to like sin is okay. Cinderella is great. She's great.
What's that one where Mickey is the wizard, but there's a part where
Fantasia,
there's a giant demon that's conjured up. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Fantasia. It's Fantasia.
Yeah,
and that one's
right.
Yeah, and that one's also like, I mean, Mickey's a wizard, and then it also says in the Bible that mice are the creeping things, right. And then it says so it basically refers to mice as being like evil, but yet Mickey Mouse is like, there's another part you can compare it, and it basically kind of alludes that mice are like of the creeping things, and then it says creeping things are of the darkness of the kingdom of darkness, and so like the mouse is like kind of a symbol of creeping things, and it's like a little whatever, who knows. But then there's Donald Duck, and Donald Duck, show him that image, man. Show him that image. Like, people don't know, but Donald Duck, back in the day, there's a video created. There he is with the pentagram, and it's a video talking about the pentagram. Okay, this is Donald Duck. Show the other one, I guess.
Mathematics. What was it called?
The magic of mathematics, or something like that. I think.
Something like that.
Yeah. And he's with Greek gods. Okay, again, Nephilim, who's a ghost, which are demons. And they're Nephilim Greek gods. Okay, so this is literally demon Nephilim Greek gods, and Donald Duck is a Nephilim. He's part goat, he's part duck, part human. Okay, Mickey Mouse is a Nephilim. He's part mouse, part human. All of the characters are humanoidal, animal mixed genetic sequencing DNA. They are freaking Nephilim. Yeah. Okay, they are literally Donald Duck's a Nephilim. I don't know how to describe that to you any better or clearer, but Donald Duck is a Nephilim. Like, and they like try to like personify these humanoidal animal mixed hybrid creatures and make you conditioned to accept them. And it's persistent in everything about Disney.
Well, this is the blatant use of a pentagram.
Yeah.
You know,
watch Google that video.
Than that. Yeah, trying to make it into some, you know, mathematical thing, and it's it's hardcore, man. It's hardcore.
Yeah, and then we've got things like Pocahontas it's kind of like normalizing occult practices in the Native American stuff, which it's just trying to say what?
Shamanism,
yeah, and it's trying to be like, oh, okay, there's magic and it's okay in these ways and blah blah blah. Like, and it's throughout all the things. I've got to pull up like a list of all the creatures and the things that they have. And then we've got like Lilo and Stitch that kind of shows, oh, aliens that are misunderstood creatures are actually friendly. Stitch is a good guy. You don't have to hate Stitch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Stitch is so friendly. He just made look at him. Yeah, and I'm like thinking here, I got to go through like some pictures and pull up some other characters. We've got like Toy Story, which is kind of exposing you to like idolization and making it's like making worship of idolization like normal and like, acceptable. And then you've got freaking Roger Rabbit. I mean, man, that one's like that's like in your face. It's like so sexualized cartooning of things. But there's like so many components to like, the Monsters movie where they're trying to make like the monsters be the good guys. They're just misunderstood. They're misunderstood, y'all.
Which is exactly goes back to the father of lies. I'm just poor misunderstood. God he just didn't do me right. And the whole concept, he's going to take as many people to hell as he possibly can. So then God has to change his mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, oh, all your people are in hell. God, now you're going to feel bad for them all and then change the rules and like cease us to exist, is which I think that's why Lucifer's main goal is, or Satan or whatever. His name's not really Lucifer, but Satan's like main goal is literally to like get all the people he can into hell. So God will like, forgive and let things go. And then there's like another thing is like Mulan with the dragon, trying to make the dragon friendly, even though dragons in all circumstances have been evil in all of our history. But today, dragons are cool and dragons are friendly. And you know what's funny is like every little kid, when you start to draw, what do they draw? They'll draw dragons. I don't know why.
Dragon.
I don't know why kids all draw dragons, but I don't know if that's like satanic influence and like subliminal thing that's just like in our society. That
they actually existed.
Yeah, well, yeah, they were dinosaurs. That's another term for dragon back in the day. But like, I mean, they did actually exist, but just things that you just don't think about. And then there's like, witchcraft in Jafar and witchcraft in, Alice in Wonderland. Man, that's a whole level of blatant, like they use Alice in Wonderland in so many forms of hypnosis and hypnotherapy and all kinds of stuff. Alice in Wonderland.
It's part of the whole MK Ultra mind conditioning thing too.
Yep. It was used. Yeah, absolutely. It was used in MK Ultra. And so like, you got to think like, well, why are they using this movie as part of MK Ultra for brainwashing? And if you don't know what MK Ultra is, I just say, Google it. Like Google MK Ultra, read the Wikipedia article, but it's very disturbing and it's very real. And the government has admitted to it. And it's still going on today. People think it's ended. They're like, oh, well, they admitted to it. So
mind control.
Yeah, they're like, oh, they admitted to it, so they stopped doing it. So it's not going on today anymore, guys. Like, oh, it's good now. We're fine. So yeah, and then Atlantis. Oh man, the Atlantis movie. This is something that's also kind of weirdly has these pedophilic symbols all over it. Which, if you Google Atlantis pedo symbols, it's such a weird movie. But the symbol is the pedophile symbol on the book of the Atlantis thing. And if you Google what the pedophile symbol is that the FBI released, that's literally throughout the whole movie. There's like the pedo symbols all throughout that movie, and it's very disturbing. And it's like you watch it and you're like, why is that there like that? That's pretty weird.
Something's not right.
Yeah, something's not quite right.
Any of these old things too. These old,
my gosh,
Disney rats in jail, and look at the hands are all distorted. And wow, talk about, like you say, stuff of nightmares. Wow.
Yeah, and so and this is just like, like looking at this stuff now with clearer eyes of knowing what is really going on and what the agenda is and what they're trying to push. And then there's that movie with the girl with the red hair with the arrows, and she's got the curly red hair. They're just trying to like glorify, and she turns into a bear. That's like straight witchcraft. And there's runes in it, and she's like
Pippi Longstocking, red hair.
Yes, and they want to, and it was something that you don't know about this, but like Satanism, this is probably something that's not as commonly known, but Satanists and Satanism, they worship people with red hair. And I know that's a little bit weird, but they literally like want to drink people's blood that's got red hair, and they worship redheads and people with red hair. And it's like a thing because they know that people with red hair have like higher levels of angelic DNA coursing through their blood. And they think, I don't know if they think that there's some power to that, which I know that people collect Nephilim bones and they like grind them up and try to eat them to like get magical power or something, because it's like part angelic stuff or whatever. But like that's also a thing I think that's involved with people with red hair. So that
it's overwhelming when you think about it. There's so much. Yeah, I mean that's. I mean, we just touched on a few little things. I mean, there's this, it's the overwhelming. Once you get keyed into these telltale things, then you see it everywhere. Oh, yeah. You'll see it everywhere. Once you understand, you'll just you'll freak out, wow. And you don't even want to believe it because it's so overwhelmingly everywhere, but that's the whole point, to make it normal, to numb you to it. Yeah.
Yeah. They want people to just be normalized to witchcraft, normalized to the occult, normalized to symbolism that they hide in all kinds of things, like normalized to sexuality. They want to like get children like connected to the sexual components of themselves, like so that way they can like take over your children's minds. And then they like have things like with we didn't even get into the Disney world of like actors, like what's her name, that little girl that turned in Miley Cyrus that went all crazy, and like how many of her followers, the little kid followers that loved Miley Cyrus, went down the dark rabbit hole along with her. Like there she is, all innocent, being that Disney whatever girl, I forget what show she ran, and then all of a sudden, boom, she's like going down a dark hole and taking all her followers with her. A percentage of them are just falling down with her. And you got to think like, this is the agenda, dude. This is really what's going on. I mean, like there's multiple levels of Disney that are been influenced in negative ways, but like they have repeatedly hired people at Disney that are pedophiles, like convicted pedophiles. Okay. And this is disturbing. Yes. When you look into it, even the highest person, I think it was the CEO or whatever at Disney recently, that I think it was, I forget what year it was in, but he was like one of the main people at CEO, got convicted of pedophilic acts of raping children. And I don't even think he went to jail for very long. I think he went to jail for like 3 months or something, and like had to pay some big fine or whatever. And it's like, what? Like multiple accounts? You got to wonder, like, and they try to bury that. And it's like, you got to wonder, like, why is that even acceptable? Like, why is that not bigger news? Why is that not being reported on further?
Actually, there's a bunch of stories about the underground Disney, all the tunnels that connect everything, and for security purposes. But there's a lot of people that report missing children at Disney. And if you call the police to ask about it, they refer you to the Disney police. They have their own police.
Disney, I called them. Disney has their own police station that is separate from the Anaheim police station. And so if you try to find out the missing persons report for the Anaheim missing persons at Disney, you can't find it. Now, I don't know. Maybe supposedly they've never had a missing child. I've looked into the history of it. Supposedly they've never had a missing child at Disney. And, maybe that's true. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. But like, who knows? If you've ever had a missing child go missing at Disney, make a video, please, and put it out there for the internet to see. It would be interesting.
There's also the types of stripes, the blue and white stripes that are on top of Epstein's temple on the Epstein Island that are incorporated into the Disney logo. There was the Disney cruises that used to go snorkeling right outside his island.
Actually, cruise ships is a very disturbing thing. I don't know if you've ever Googled how many people go missing on cruise ships, or children go missing on cruise ships. It is very disturbing when you look into it. Like, there's a lot of people that go missing, and they always like try to write it off like, oh, well, you got off the boat. It's not our fault. I'm sorry. The boat can't wait for you. Don't get off the boat without your card. Oh, I guess they just got left in Mexico. Your child just went missing and got left in Mexico. Oh, like what? Like what? I'm pretty dang sure there is snatchers on cruise ships totally looking out for vulnerable children. And when the boat lands, they wait for your kid to go missing. They snatch your kid and they jump ship, or they do it, or they wait for you to like not be paying attention. And they make you think that, oh yeah, your kid must have gotten off the boat when we were on, parked, like, and they make it seem that way, or however they plan it. But dude, so many people, so many kids go missing off of Disney cruise and off the boat cruise, of all the cruises. And it's like a big deal. Like, oh, you're getting left at the boat, but like these kids never get seen again. Like they never find the children and the people that go missing off the cruise ships. That's a disturbing fact alone. And when you look into that, it's pretty dang shocking. You're like, like I did a little bit of research looking into it, and I was like, what the freaking heck? Like, kids go missing on cruise ships? Yeah. How can you go missing on a ship?
Yeah.
Like, what? Anyways.
And now Disney is introducing all this new kind of LGBTQ whatever gay characters and their stuff. I mean,
my gosh,
it just never stops. It never stops. I mean,
they're so part of the agenda. It's ridiculous. Like they're filling in the agenda to, you know, make, you know, like homosexuality okay and pedophilic actions okay, and they freaking hire pedophiles. Okay, I have literally fired people and then rehired people after they've been convicted for pedophilic acts to work on Disney TV shows with children. Okay,
Director.
like directors, yes. Google it. It's very disturbing. And if you think that that's not really going on, like, dude, there's like court cases about it. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
it goes
even
on so much more than you even imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the stuff that gets caught. Like the problem is you think that these situations are like one-offs. Oh, well, everybody's going to get caught. No, that's just like when one case happens, you can suspect there's probably like at least, you know, times 10 the amount of stuff going on at least.
Yeah, and there's a whole network of people that are covering for their other fellow pedos, you know. I mean, people who are, you know, have power and are in control. So, yeah.
It's very disturbing. Disney has got a lot of disturbing stuff about it, a lot of skeletons in the closet. And if you are somebody that supports Disney, I beg you to just look up the history of the pedophilic directors that have been hired and fired and rehired and put on shows and known about things and all the situations involved with that. And that alone should disturb you enough to be like, hey, listen, maybe we shouldn't support Disney. Right. You know, if you don't even think, okay, let's say you forget the business, the full Nephilim component and the part that they're brainwashing your children to make you think that occult symbols are okay and that witchcraft is okay and that sorcery is okay and that, you know, demons and Nephilim are your friends. Okay. Like let's forget that. Just look at the facts of what's going on in today's world. The fact that they are rehiring pedophiles, like registered people that have been accused of raping children. Okay. Raping children. Okay, not just like touching, like they've literally been accused of violent acts towards children. Okay, sexual violent acts. Like, dude, it's terrible. It's very terrible. So, anyways, I don't know how we can leave this on a good note. I don't like leave it like this terrible.
People
terrible
hate us.
Yeah, like so Disney.
I mean, I grew up going to Disneyland. You know, I mean, I love the haunted house, you know. I mean, I grew up in the Addams Family's attic. I mean, I love all the ghosty stuff before I started to understand what it really is. But, you know, I love a good dark ride, man. I used to try to build my own dark rides and stuff. But, yeah, you know.
All demonic, subtle demonic influences.
Eventually you start to understand it is demonic. It comes from a demonic source. And it's done in a way where it's woo, you know, and it's not. It's the core of it is coming from a very dark place, and it's working on your brain. It's working on your heart. It's working on your mind to soften you to it. Yeah. Yep,
that's absolutely right.
Fascinating stuff.
Anyways, there's some Disney stuff. Do some research, people. Read some stuff. Don't just like look at the crazy people that are out there going like, oh, look, Disney says 666 on their logo.
And who knows? It probably does. You know, but that's not the point. The point is what's being shoved in your face and make you like it. You know, I mean, you just got a lot of good food there. Everything you could possibly want. You know, it's like thrills and chills and magic and oh boy, you know. But
they're trying to distract you from the illusion. Yeah. The reality of what really is going on in life. And I don't know what the fascination with homosexuality in Disney is, but I had a lot of gay friends in the past that I've noticed that a lot of them love Disney. And I was like, what's this thing with like gay people love Disney? I don't even understand the disassociation issue.
Everyone loves
that I've noticed. Yeah. And I was like, why do all these gay guys like love Disney and stuff? This is so weird. But now Disney's like totally embraced it, and I'm like,
sure.
Is there like some like hidden like thing going on with Disney that's like subliminally trying to make people gay? I don't even know, but it's like it's super, business, you know. It's super interesting either way. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on.
Fascinating stuff. We will probably do another follow-up episode to answer any questions you have. So if you want to make any comments or anything, we could definitely address all the comments we make.
Yeah, things that we missed. Mention things that we missed. Absolutely.
And we probably have a ton more information coming in too. We have some interesting episodes coming up. We're going to be doing one on UFOs and fallen angel technology.
Oh, yeah.
And some other really, really interesting things about CERN And we're actually going to finally do a big one on Bigfoot.
Oh, really? Okay, let's do it.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
go.
We have totally different ideas about what Bigfoot is.
Yeah.
Although I'm starting to, understand different things. But yeah.
I'm rubbing off on you a little bit.
I'm so happy you guys sat us out and listened to all this stuff. It's very important information. And we don't want to make light of it. It's already being made light by them. So it's about turning on the light and understanding what's around you. It's actually about discernment. You can pray for discernment and you suddenly have the ability to, this is that. It's also the light of the scripture. The light of the scripture, you turn that light on and you see all the cockroaches run. You see what they are. And it's very important to remember that. You ever get all, you can always hold anything up to the light of scripture and say, that's what that is. But once again, thank you guys for joining us. And we'll see you next time on the Fourth Watch. Bye.